Hello everybody, how you doing? It is Tuesday night. I'm out in the shop. I'm picking up a couple of things because I was out here earlier digging. Somebody contacted me and needed some information. Had to dig a few things out to be able to get the information. I don't know how long I'm going to stay in the shop tonight, but in the last couple of days I've had several ideas for blanks. Now I want to go back and remake the Charlie Brown blank and the chevron blank, but I also want to try these new blanks out. So I'm going to fiddle around with these for just a little bit. I'm not going to probably do any recording. I may show you guys a couple of shots, but I just want to see if my idea works. So I will keep you posted. Here's what I've been working on. Take a look at that. It looks pretty darn good. I've got nice tight fits. I just put this one in so it hasn't been trimmed off yet, but I got a nice tight fit all the way around. I am using CA glue. Normally I don't build blanks with CA glue, but I'm prototyping, right? I just wanted to use my sled. I set it at 30 degrees and I used the clamp because you don't want to be holding these with your hand this close to the table saw. Going at an angle like that, that's asking for trouble. So I used the clamp, and then one hand goes here, one hand goes here to push it level through the blade. My hands are safe, and the blank is clamped down. What I'm thinking about doing is design. I have an idea. Will I do it? I don't know. It depends on time and if I lose interest or not. But I have an idea on a sled for your table saw to be able to make these. You know, put them on there, hold them down, and run them through the blade and repeatedly make them. These are some of the 1/8" strips that I cut the other night. They are the perfect width. Take a look at how tight they fit. I didn't even clamp this just because I was prototyping. I probably should have clamped it, but I didn't. What I will do in the future is I'm thinking about making some of these. I'm thinking about taking, let's say a dozen blanks, right? Run them through, zip, 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 zip. Glue it in with Tite Bond, let it dry. 20 minutes, 30 minutes later, come through, rotate them, run the other side. So I think you could make these pretty quickly. I probably got 10, maybe 12 minutes in this blank. So I'm really excited about that. That doesn't include cutting the strips. I had already cut those. They were laying on the saw when I got out here tonight. But the blank goes pretty quick if you got the parts. So I'm really excited about that. Next step is it should be good and dry from the activator. I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of run it. I'm using my disc sander, just kind of clean those little lips up. And then I've already got it marked on the end. I don't know how well you can see that, but I'll use a punch, get that punched, and we'll go ahead and drill a hole down the middle and get a tube glued in there just for giggles, right? And I'll use CA for that because I want to get this done quick tonight, right? And it's probably going to blow apart. But the thing is, what I'm interested in is if I drill it down, the blank is perfectly square. I tested it. If I drill down the center and I can go right down the center and put a tube in there, and it looks good. The joints are tight on the inside of the blank. That's all I care about. Then I can go to wood glue and I'll clamp the ends as I build them so that I get a nice tight fit, and I'll glob the glue in there, right? But I think I can turn or build a bunch of these relatively quickly and have a lot of fun with Celtic knot pins. And then there's something called a 6-sided Celtic knot pin. Once you get this far and you get it cleaned up, you come back and I've got a sled that I can take the sides, the corners off of these, and then you can lay it on the corner and cut your design and make a 6-sided Celtic knot. Now the problem is using 1/8", it's a little too thick. I mean, look at that. You don't have a lot of meat there, so I think you would end up with just like a wild-looking band on your pin. So, but like I said, I've got this idea. I've got a couple other ideas. I just want to experiment and learn, and then I'll come back and remake some of these because I really want to make some incredible blanks. So, just having a good time, right? I mean, this is what it's all about. This is my interest right now. This is the squirrel I'm chasing in the shop. Is Celtic knot pin blanks. Just knocked the corners off of it with the skew. It's starting to come together. You see these open areas? What that is when I cut the blank, I don't cut all the way through. That way it's not separated. I leave, a little less than 1/4 of an inch, and I glue the piece of wood in. So what will happen as we turn the maple away, these will start to connect. Looking pretty good. Still got a few flat spots to take off of it. We're just gonna strop the old skew and keep going after it. There's your Celtic knot. She looks pretty good. I got it pretty well down the center because all the little pieces look pretty much about the same. That little spot there is a tiny flat spot. The shininess is the CA on the end of it. I need to, as I sand, I think that'll disappear. But you can see the little diamonds there in the center. are all about the same size. I'm really happy with that. So I've got a great fit at both ends, and we're going to go ahead and start sanding. And you can tell the difference in this maple. This is hard maple compared to what I was using. This is so much nicer. The grain is so much tighter. I want to go ahead and put a thin coat of CA on here just to protect it like a sanding sealer. Then we're going to sand it. Oops, I got something rubbing there. I'm going to fix that too while I'm at it. I just finished with the micro mesh. I'm getting ready to buff this up. It really ought to pop when I buff it. I'll show you in just a few minutes. Take a look at that. That is probably one of the best Celtic knots I think I've ever made. Looks uniform all the way around. What a beaut. Now I got to decide whether I want to stick it into a pin or not. Oh, I don't know, maybe. Not bad for a test. What a fun night in the shop. I'm not sure how long I have in on this, maybe a little over an hour probably from start to finish, and that was already having the strips cut up. Man, I couldn't be happier with how that turned out. It looks beautiful. It's hard to see in the video, but it's really well defined. I mean, it's gorgeous. And I did a pretty good job centering it too. I mean, take a look at that. I'm happy with that. All right, guys, that's it for me. You know, I proved what I wanted to prove. I did what I wanted to do. I'm calling it a night. Have a great evening, and thanks a lot for hanging out with me.